Welcome to the Voiceover Sermon with Terry Daniel, the podcast for voiceover artists with tons of handy tips, tricks, and useful information to help you run your voiceover business better. And now, here's your host, Terry Daniel.
Hey everybody, Terry Daniel, voice actor and coach from Minneapolis. Welcome to another episode of Voiceover Sermons. Before we actually get to this episode with Garnet Williams and Rob Marley, two fabulous coaches of mine, I just want to let you know that we had a little tech issue. There's a little bit of echo on a couple of the voices throughout the episode, but we will work diligently to fix that by the time we do another episode. So I apologize for that, and enjoy the episode. Thanks for listening. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another exhilarating episode of Voiceover Sermons. My name's Terry Daniel, and I have two lovely gentlemen with me, Garnet Williams, Rob Marley, two fabulous coaches of mine. I always have to get that plug in immediately. Garnet, you've never been on an episode before, and I'm glad that we finally worked that out with your agent because your rates were just too high.
Well, I COVID and whatnot, you do have to make changes here and there to your rate card, but no, it is a pleasure to be here. It's an honor just to be nominated, and
of course, yeah.
I couldn't be more gleeful to be in your presence.
You know, and I have never been more proud that this podcast has never been nominated for any kind of voiceover award.
At least none that we didn't have to pay for.
Aha. Oh, God, you went there.
I'm sorry. Did I say
Rob
that?
Went
did
there.
I say that? I'm
Rob
sorry.
Went there. There's a song in there somewhere. Rob went there. No, I love staying under the radar. So, Garnet, thank you for coming on, first of all. And like Rob, you also get glowing reviews every time you work with students of ours. Why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of what you and a student do in, like, let's say, like a basic commercial script performance session. You don't have to give away all your magical secrets or anything like that, but just kind of a general, just spend about 3 hours telling us what you do.
Well, see, I'm very fortunate because my background, like many of our friends in the voiceover industry, I started in radio, and I started as an audio writer and producer. Commercial writer and audio producer. And by the time I got into voiceovers as a career, I'd spent a lot of time directing talent, and I was very lucky that I had that behind me, because once I started working on the other side of the glass as the talent, I felt that I could anticipate some of the direction that was going to come my way, because it's what I would have done if I was in charge and helming the session. So I kind of look at it like that when I'm coaching students. I very much, I'm wearing a director hat, not just a coach hat. Right. And I throw them into the deep end right away, working with scripts and just dissecting, figuring out the best way to approach the script, because it's so easy, as we know, many of the Fiverr junkies out there, they just like turn on the mic, blah, 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 and send it in because it's a numbers game. They got to get as many auditions done and sent in as possible.
Right.
But my approach when I work with students is to actually take some time and thoughtfully approach the script, figure out the mood, the message the client's trying to convey, and just kind of pull that all apart before you even do a read through. And
that's good. There's a lot of prep in there, and I always know you do a good job because the students call me up crying. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I've always if there's something that I can boast about with our staff is we're not cheerleaders. We don't blow smoke. We're probably, honestly, I'm just going to go out and say it, we're probably the most candid group of coaches on the planet.
We do no favors by sparing feelings, especially if it's going to help them on their journey. Thick skin is not just an asset; it's a necessity in any performing arts industry. And
I mean, we're not cruel.
No, nobody's cruel. But I spent about a year way back when. Years and years ago, working with a coach who was just like, every read I said, he thought it was the greatest read he's ever heard, and kept telling me how much money I was going to make, and I didn't get any better. There was no improvement. I still sucked as much as I did the year before. This is back when I was in my 20s. And, you kind of go through those rough patches of working with somebody who you thought was a credible coach. And turns out I was probably a worse performer than I was when I started with this guy. Thank God for, having experience being a stage actor. But then, I got to know more actors in my community who kind of steered me in a much better direction. So
there's a lot of demo mills out there. There's a lot of people just taking advantage of the fact that people really want to be successful and they see voiceover as a viable option, because all I can do is stand in front of a microphone and money comes to me, blah, blah, blah. So they're more than happy to say, yeah, we'll take your money and we'll make you a demo and send you on your way. Well, and that demo is crap.
Well, when you see Facebook ads, I think we've talked about this in a couple of episodes, where the first two words on the Facebook ad is big money. It's either big money or break into voiceovers. You don't break into voiceovers. You earn your way in, ladies and gentlemen.
You work your way in.
Yes, exactly. And I see these ads, and it's such a trigger for me because and some of them are credible people. I'm not going to start a witch hunt or name anybody, but I see these ads and it's offensive because, the reputable coaches out there are trying to do the right thing. And then you run into a Facebook ad like that. And I just want to call these people on the phone and just come on, this is an insult to the business.
Yeah, there's it's not an ad. It's actually a post for a seminar, but it's one of those gateway seminars like crack. The seminar's free, but during the seminar, but during the seminar you're going to get a taste. And even in their post, I'm looking at it right now. All caps: break into the lucrative world of voiceovers.
Oh my God! You lose me at the word break every time.
But you know what? So many people are gonna fall for that because what do they see? They see voiceovers. They see lucrative. It's in all caps, as big as life, and they're going to go and pay attention to this pitch, which costs nothing. The pitch costs nothing. But in that pitch, that's where they're going to sell their cut rate, full bullshit, what is it, like, not service, what do they call it? Our program. Yeah. Our program has been designed, and it's so many episodes or so many modules where they're going to basically, bargain box this together, a full voiceover training that will lead to a career that will bring you wealth. And it's just
you wealth?
It's all garbage. They don't care about you. They don't care about your career. No. All they're doing is making dollars off of your dreams and selling you worthless information that you could find on Google.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what vetting is called, everything that Garnet just said, because I always tell, when I do like a consultation with somebody who wants to get into this, I don't even talk about money. I talk about learning the art and learning how to act and learning how to interpret script and learning how to be a bunch of different characters and how to talk to, multiple different audiences. I'm not even going to say the word money, until the end of the program, and we don't make those kinds of promises because that's where you get nipped if you make those kinds of promises.
Well, that's not what we're here for. I'm not here to ensure that you make money as a voice actor. I'm here to help you on your journey to become an actor and to help equip you with the tools that when you decide to put your foot forward, you've got a demo, you've got a website, you've had some training, then you're going to go out there and you're going to market yourself, and you'll be better equipped to do so and could perhaps be successful. But it all comes down, we're just like a step in the path to, help build your toolbox. And then what you do with all that information and that knowledge and that demo and marketing yourself, that's more on you than it is on the coach. So right out of the gate, any coach that promises riches and uses words like lucrative in their imaging or their branding, they're just out to take you.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about how to be a success in voiceover, but it's more, I mean, I can show you the skills. I can teach somebody the skills, but if they don't have the drive within themselves, if they don't have that passion to wake up at whatever time of day that they wake up and reach out to businesses on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, they're not going to go anywhere because it's really about marketing more than anything else.
And before people think that we're just sitting here doing a podcast constantly tooting our own horn, why don't we I want to talk to you both about something. I want to throw something kind of fun at both of you. I'll start with you, Rob. No. This will be fun because I've been struggling with this all day long on this e-learning project that I'm working on. What is the easiest, what you would think no-brainer word is that you always struggle during a recording session?
Oh, that's a good one.
The easiest but deadliest word during a script during a real gig.
You know what? The word "and" screw me up sometimes. It depends.
Oh yeah.
Like I can't. Sometimes I'll be able to say like medical terms, no big deal.
Yeah.
And then like a connecting word will screw me up, and I can't think of anything off the top of my. Synthesize is a good one.
Yeah, that is that's a really good one. But
it also depends on what words are right next to that word.
Well, it's like occasionally I'll be working with a student or two that emphasizes or puts too much attention on the word "and" in like the middle of a sentence. And we know what you're saying already. You don't have to bring it to the forefront and over-articulate it.
I talk about that all the time, like this and that.
Right.
And is what they call a bridge word. It just connects the two words. It's not this and that. It's this and that. You know, those are the two. It's the points that are the important thing, not the word "and."
Mine would be applicable.
Applicable is a good one.
No, seriously, when I see the word applicable, see, I can't even say it. When I see the word applicable in a script, I start to sweat. I mean, it brings on such anxiety. It literally throws me on the verge of a real nervous breakdown. I'm like, oh my God, this is a live directed session via Source Connect, and I'm going to screw this up because that word's in there. And
then do you say applicable or do you say applicable?
Most of the time I say applicable, but that's just I know people say applicable too, but the clients that I've worked with that have that in their script, they like applicable, but oh my God, it is just an absolute disaster. What I do is I try to pay the client to change the script.
Please, just something other than that word.
Yes, I know. Garnet, how about you?
Mine is anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Whenever
that comes up in a script, and you know how often it does.
It comes up a lot, I'm sure.
You know, you always pick these easy ones that you stumble over.
No, I honestly don't have a particular word. Just some days if I'm particularly like just lazy mouthed and tongue tied, I'll just like trip over a word, and you know the old story that you go back and you try again, and then you know if you screw up like 3 times, now it's in your head and you just can't get past it. So I'll move to a different portion and maybe loop back and do that one when I'm coming at it a little bit more fresh. You mentioned changing the word. I did that with one of our students the other day. We were recording, doing demo prep for the demo session that was the next day, and there was just one combination of like 3 words that he could not get through. Just kept tripping up his tongue, and his teeth would not work together on this. Yep. So quick Google synonym for that word, and we fixed it. We just sometimes you just got to get rid of the word.
You have to do it. I've had
especially when it's a demo.
I know. Yeah, on demo sessions you have to do it. I'm not going to sit there for 45 minutes and just try to get that word out.
It got into his head. I can't remember what exactly the combination was, but once he like tripped over it 2 or 3 times, I said, "You're kind of slurring your way through that. You got to enunciate it." So he did, but he over enunciated it. So now the word almost sound isolated in the sentence.
It's like obvious you've been having trouble with it.
Yeah. So you know we just get it out of there.
The one that gets me all the time is I'll say a word that's not in the script. Like, I don't know why I'm saying it, but I'll say a word that's not there.
Very common.
And then it's in my head, and no matter how many times I'm looking at the words as I'm reading them, I'm still saying a word that is physically not on the script, and I can't get it out of my head. You get locked into it, and it's just horrible.
Well, Garnet made a good point, too, that, you know, if you're having a day where you're stumbling over a line or you're stumbling over a word, I mean, don't sit there and kick yourself in the face trying to get it right for an hour. You know, take a walk, go for a run, just go meditate, whatever you need to do to relax. And then just, especially if the project's not due for a few days, you know, come back to it. There's no reason to sit there and get pissed. I mean, you guys know who Mike Elmore is. It's hilarious. He will send me MP3 of him dropping the F-bomb in the middle of a recording. He throws these tantrums like a 2-year-old, and then he'll send me the MP3 of the audio. Oh, you got to hear how I melted down. I'm like, why on earth do you even do that to yourself? Why don't you just walk away or just do it tonight or tomorrow? But I have to admit the entertainment value on his road rage temper tantrum when he screws up a script is just priceless.
I've found a trick that works for me, like especially when I can't get something conversational enough. You know, like you're trying to be conversational, you're trying to be casual with what you're saying, and it's just not coming across right. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll just go extreme and I'll just go wacky and do the whole thing in a crazy zany voice and just laugh about it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like cleans out the system, you know.
But
then I can go back and sound normal.
Do you accidentally send that version to the client?
Oh God, no! I'm deathly afraid of that.
Oh God, it's nice.
I do a lot of editing before that.
Oh well, I tried to, but I sent my Subaru of America client a file where I dropped the F-bomb a couple times in the middle of it because I stumped. Thankfully, we had a good 7-year client relationship going, and she thought it was the funniest thing she's ever heard. So. Thank God that happened, but that was, always please listen back to your recordings and make sure that, pinch yourself before you drop the F-bomb. It's a lot easier to edit out.
Well, to Rob's point about, adding words, I've had students to do that, and we all do it. But that's why I've mentioned to the students, we'll do a couple takes of a script, and I'll say, do you realize the last 2 takes you've been adding this? Or in some cases, they're dropping words, but they're not noticing because it's the addition or the subtraction of that word isn't affecting the context or the flow of the commercial.
Right,
of the line. So they're not really noticing it because it's not making it awkward to still get through the sentence. Mm-hmm. So I just tell them, you've done that, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize. And I said, that's fine. It's just when it comes to the the editing portion, make sure that when you're editing and before you package it up into an MP3 or a WAV or whatever, and you're sending it out, you read along with the script in front of you to make sure that you're not like dropping any commas, any words, any punctuation that they might have required and that you might have missed during your performance. So it's like check, double check, triple check before you actually send the file out.
And how did you? I know we talked a little bit about what you will. How you kind of conduct your coaching sessions, but Garnet does a lot of our like animation coaching, video game character coaching. What is the approach, to that session as opposed to a straight up commercial session?
Well, I actually, when I first work with students, because I like doing character stuff and I like to dispel the myth that some students have regarding commercials where they, I don't want to do animation because it's not really in my wheelhouse, so I'm just going to do commercials because that's my own speaking voice. But many commercials actually require some character work. So I introduce a character driven commercial in my introductory sessions, and it is different than approaching as a regular read, but it's still the same in a lot of ways because you're first of all having to figure out what the mood and the message is, and then kind of figuring out your role. Like, it could be a McDonald's commercial where your role is that of McDonald's spokesperson. But in this case, the one that I work with, many of our students, and they might know this if they're listening, is I make them perform as a talking lawn. And they all have different interpretations, and that's great.
Great.
I just tell them to start with that, figure out what the lawn is going to sound like, figure out what the voice is, what the character is, and then build on that. And smooth it out and, give it a backstory, figure out why it sounds the way you've chosen it's going to sound. And there's some other nuances in the script that actually has the lawn pretty pissed off. So they have to kind of, it's for a lawn service. So
That's
the lawn
awesome.
is mad. The lawn is mad
lawn
that the
is
homeowner... because the homeowner isn't doing a good enough job taking care of it. So he's like giving the homeowner shit. But it's just awesome hearing all the students with their own really wild sometimes interpretations, because with a character like that, it's almost like a cartoon character in that there's no rules of physics. It's a talking lawn. So there's no rules. There doesn't have to be any real structure. You can't go too big. Because it's a talking lawn. Like there's no real limit to how over the top you can be with a performance like that. So I just like to tell them that and let them have fun and explore the character, which I think you can do a lot more than you can with just like a straight commercial read.
Yeah, and I think new talents too, they might say, well, I'm more of an e-learning narrator, or I'm more of a commercial voice actor. Don't put yourself in a box. I worked with a guy, and Rob, I think I told you this story on one of our group classes. maybe even the one with Darren Altman, who was fantastic in the last class that we just did. But I had a guy that I worked with. All he wanted to do was improve his medical narration reads. And, that's fine because it's a big business, huge business. We all do medical narration here on this in this podcast today. And so we worked on that for about 5 months. And then him and I both got so tired of the content. We were like, Bob, let's switch it up just for fun. Let's have some fun. So I threw him a couple of animation scripts, a couple of character scripts.
Nice.
And what a great surprise, because this is what he ended up doing. He didn't drop medical altogether, but he started doing more character work. And this is something he never, ever thought he could do. And by the way, when your talent agent sends you an audition, I've been hearing this a lot, and I'm friends with a lot of agents around the country that give me the gossip once in a while. Don't call your agent and say you don't think this is the right fit for you. For one, that's a huge red flag because you're questioning your agent. Your agent has you on their roster because they believe in your talent. And if they feel that you have the right voice to work on a character type script, you need to trust that agent because, you don't want to put yourself in a box and you never know, you might book it.
Yeah.
Well, I had that happen with a student that really didn't think that they could do character stuff, so they just wanted to use their regular speaking voice. And what made them kind of realize it was something they could do was I said, do you have kids? And they did. And I said, do you ever read your kids' bedtime stories and do silly voices and stuff like that? And that was just like an epiphany. And from there, they were fantastic. They were just incredible working through the scripts, but it was just something they never tried because they didn't think they could do it. And if there's ever a time in your journey where you can experiment, it's when you're starting out.
Exactly.
When you're really trying to figure out what genres you want to work in. And try everything. You might suck at half of what you try, but you don't know until you try.
Well, think about how many times. Think about what that like. Just working on a couple of animation scripts, even if it's not something that you go on to do. Think about how much that improves your regular commercial reads.
Yep, makes you more versatile.
Yep. All right, we got about 20 minutes in. Do we have any sponsors? Oh wait, we don't. Well, our podcast is awesome. How come? Why don't you guys sell some sponsorships? What are you doing with your time?
There's my book. We can always pitch my book.
That's right. By the way, we haven't, I feel good about this because we haven't plugged it in a few episodes. So why don't you go ahead and just drop it here?
Oh, I really wasn't trying to fish for like a plug, but yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
so it's called
passive aggressive of you, Rob.
It's called So You Want to Do VO. And it's basically an introductory course not a course, but it's an introductory in breaking into the big money of voiceover.
Yeah, it's just
getting your big break in voiceover.
Yeah, you've gotten a lot of compliments from student of ours for that one because it's very candid stuff.
One of our students read the book and signed up with us because of it. I'm like, well, that's cool.
Well, that's beautiful because there's a trust thing there, and they trusted everything that you wrote in that book, and some of the stuff. There's some really good books out there, but I'm always surprised at some of them are still a little outdated. I mean, I paged through one the other day that still talked about sending a CD in or a cassette, or some of them are just really old. I'm like, you might want to update the content. You know what I find kind of puzzling though, some webinars, some voiceover books, I feel like they don't spend enough time covering marketing.
Yeah,
it's about agencies. It's about script technique and delivery, which is, of course, very, very important. But, I mean, we see it. Garnet and I talk about this all the time. There'll be a post in one of the voiceover forums. All right, I got my demos. Now what do I do? Mm-hmm. There's too much of that going on. So I don't know who these people are working with or if they're reading bad books or attending outdated webinars. But I guess I'm just going to have to brag about our staff one more time. We cover a lot of ground on marketing and what to do with your demo, who to call. Trish does an absolutely killer marketing session. She's kind of our marketing. She doesn't like it when I call her a marketing guru, but that's exactly what she is, and she does a phenomenal job.
No, agreed.
She's awesome.
And any coach working today should be devoting a considerable amount of the coaching time to marketing, because it's great getting the skills up there and then working towards a demo and then having the demo. But yeah, you what at that point you kick them out the door and say thanks? Like, no, you got to help them with that next step.
Yeah.
Give them some advice. Give them some advice on getting their website in order, getting a social media presence, and then from there building a network and just learning how to actually market themselves directly to clients, because not everybody is going to want, or not everybody needs an agent. So it's you're going to be your own marketing department, your own talent, your own accounting department. Like it's all going to be on your shoulders, and we want to prepare them for that. Once they've got that demo in hand.
Exactly. And Rob, I know that you have your book out. I thought about, I could probably write 3 books just based on my experience of being a moderator of VoiceOver Pros on Facebook.
That would be actually an interesting, like, behind the scenes kind of thing on what it's like to be a moderator for a VoiceOver Facebook group.
Oh my God.
That would be interesting.
I finally, when I started doing that with Corvo, I finally know what it's like to be a real teacher, because there's a lot of people that I'd like to send to the principal's office.
Oh my God!
In some of these forums out there that are kind of fun to moderate. But since we're on the subject, of course, I have to promote our group for new talents who are just getting started. Yes. Find VoiceOver Camp on Facebook. If you like what you've heard today, that's a pretty good place to start, because we're all in this group. Rob and I are moderators. Garnet, I haven't made you one yet, unless you really want to be one.
I'm good. You just said what a pain in the ass it is wanting to send these people.
This really sucks. Hey, you want to help me?
Moderating groups and sending people. Well, that was VO Pros as well, but still.
Yeah. No, I love VO. VO Camp is a different world. We love our VO Camp group. That's an entirely different group. But if you want to learn the right way, it's experienced coaches who actually do voiceovers for a living, which is also very, very important. But join our Facebook group. You can find it facebook.com/groups/voiceover camp. If you do a search for it, you can usually find it as well. And, it's a nice place to start. If you like what you've heard on this podcast episode and you've done all the proper research and you're ready to coach with us, you can send me an email, contact@voiceovertraining.info, or you can also message me out of VoiceOver Camp. So before we leave here, this has been a lot of fun being with both of you gentlemen, but is anybody working on a current project that's just kind of different and super fun?
I think I talked about it once before. There's a friend of mine reached out to me about doing some videos for his company, and he showed me a link to the videos that they were using, and they're doing a really horrible text-to-speech. Like, think Speechello, but think worse.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's not quite, it's not quite like a computer, like, everyone I don't like is I right, whatever. It's it's profoundly bad. And I sent one word back to him. I just said yikes. And so now we're negotiating on how I can help these guys produce these little 40-second videos that actually sound like a human being and not a computer. So I'm enjoying that. I like that.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I'm just having some fun with theme park promos, because that was a big part of my business that I lost last year during the heat of the pandemic. And a lot, most of that stuff has come back. And I knew it would. I wasn't like in panic mode, because I knew these were clients that weren't going away forever. Mm-hmm. But the park's closed. So what the hell am I going to do? Record like 50 announcements that the park's closed due to COVID? We got the one announcement, and that's fine. But now it's like we got all these promotions, and it's been quite nice and a lot of fun too, because you guys both know that I do a lot of e-learning narration, and then this is such a nice break when
it's a nice
when
change
you can
of
jump
pace.
into some theme park promos.
E-learning can get pretty dry, so it's nice to do something a little bit more on the fun side.
Do either of you guys ever do any like live announce gigs?
I'm terrified of that. I'm so afraid of fumbling and screwing up a word or pronouncing a name wrong.
Like an award show, like doing an award show if somebody's got a really difficult name. Oh my God, I have actual nightmares about that.
No, my wife.
I've done live announce and I hated it.
I've done stuff for my wife's company because she's been there for so long, and they know that I work as a voice actor. So they've had me like do MC duties kind of stuff for big like staff symposiums and whatnot.
Yeah.
But nothing like an award show. I think that would be fun, but a lot of pressure because it's so perfectly timed, right?
It is. It's tense, man, because you can't, when you're recording from home, you can stumble over a script 100 times and the client's never going to know you did that because you're not going to send them the bad takes. But oh my God, a live announce gig. Oh yeah. The pressure's on.
Yeah, my current project that I'm working on, not all about the voiceover, is well, some of my students know, and Terry, of course, knows that I work as a professor at a local college that I graduated from.
Yes, that's right.
Teaching in the radio broadcasting program that I graduated from.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
And I teach the students, the first year radio students, how to write scripts, how to use Adobe Audition and produce commercials throughout the semester. They get better, and voice is a component of that as well. So the radio station at the college that the students learn on, we just revamped with all new imaging. That I'm the imaging voice for the college station, and I'm producing like all these splitters and IDs and sweepers and stuff
so
like
much
that.
fun.
So,
I love imaging.
That's college radio. That's where radio is still fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Well,
there's actually two stations. One's an internet station, and it's all like an all hits top 40 format, and then the terrestrial station that they have, like a 10,000 watt transmitter. That's an indie rock, which most college stations have. So it's fun to be like producing for both, but that's been occupying all my time when I'm not, actually on the mic. I'm producing radio imaging, which is a lot of fun.
Oh man,
that is a lot of fun. And those
station
gigs are good too, because if you can get an imaging gig with a client, that's usually a monthly retainer.
Those are hard to get. I really tried. I was reaching out to a lot of different radio stations around there, and they're just not hiring. They're using in-house people. They've got a service that they use, like one of the big corporations out there that does imaging for like hundreds of stations and stuff. And it's hard to compete with that, but I love doing it. I have a friend that runs a small internet station, and I just do imaging just for fun because I love putting all that stuff together and making all the weird noises and making stupid jokes, and I love that.
They don't pay as well. I mean, if you can get on a retainer deal, it's kind of nice because there's some months where they're not going to send you any work and you still get paid for it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's usually like a $400-$500 a month retainer.
Yeah. It's not, but if you can get a few stations and, some months you might be maybe working a little too hard for that, for that rate. But then again, there might be 2 or 3 months that goes by where they don't even contact you.
Yeah. Or you're getting like a couple of bits, a week, if that.
Yeah, that's the way the theme park promo stuff goes. It's all like monthly retainers, which is really nice.
I'd love to do theme park stuff. I used to work at a theme park and I still can't get in because they just don't use, in-park announcements like they want, like I want. They used to have one guy who, it's a Six Flags park, and it used to be the guy that did the voice of Pepe Le Pew. He's Greg Burson, I think was his name. He's a really good voice artist, has a very unique signature sound to his voice, and we all made fun of his voice. He's one of those classic movie trailer like In a World type of voices, and
big voice.
They went away from him as quickly as they could in the 90s and never went back. But now it's just sort of the ladies and gentlemen, the show of such and such is beginning in 5 minutes, and I'm like, let me do those things. And they're like, no, we already have it on tape. We don't need anything more. So whatever.
Even a lot of stadiums for baseball are kind of going almost like a friend of mine, Adam Abrams, is the PA guy over at Target Field for the Minnesota Twins game. In fact, we're doing so well, he stopped using his microphone.
He stopped using his microphone?
Really?
We're not. I think that joke went over everybody's head. We're not winning any games. There's nobody there, Rob.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's a great guy and a great talent, but he's got a real friend. He's got that ultimate friendly, neighborly voice. It's not the big giant, Bob Casey before that was the center fielder, Kirby Puckett. He was like that, where Adams, just he reads the names of the players like he's reading a commercial. He's very, very neighborly. It seems like a lot of voices at all the theme parks or not the theme parks, but the MLB parks are like that now.
I grew up at Dodger Stadium, and the in-park announcer for Dodger Stadium, at least in the 80s, was a very now batting number 6 first baseman Steve Garvey.
I love those
very
announcers.
Boomy, and I just loved that voice. It just rang through in the stadium. You'd hear it echoing off the bleachers and stuff. It was awesome.
Who was the old guy? He was there for, God, I swear, 200 years at Yankee Stadium. He was classic old school PA announcer. Like when Derek Jeter would come up to bat, he would just go, "Now batting number 2, Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter, number 2. I don't know if my accent's terrible, but his voice kind of sounded like that, and that was classic.
Wow.
I loved it. Everybody loved him. He was around forever.
I think big boomy voices are going to make a comeback.
Oh, I think so.
Once people are sick of the conversational, millennial sounding thin, dynamic voice, I think they're going to want something bombastic and big and over the top.
I don't think they've ever left. I think that's a myth that, remember that's like, well, people aren't using the big announcer voice anymore. Yes, they are. Yeah. I never understood where that rumor got started anyway, because there's still automotive, there's still monster truck events, there's still hard rock concerts.
Oh yeah, but they just became more of like niche to those particular clients. I'm thankful because 15 or so years ago when I started doing voiceover, I didn't think that I would be an announcer voice. And I didn't really plan to be the lead voice in commercials, and surprisingly started booking with my regular voice because at the time I thought I'd only be good for character stuff.
Right.
Because let's face it, I don't sound like my balls have dropped yet. When you got guys like Gary Owen out there. When you got the Gary Owens of the world and the other big baritone kind of guys, I can't compete with that, but they definitely took a shift for more like your average retail stuff. They just didn't need the like Ted Knight kind of smooth deep delivery.
Right. Rob, you'll love this. There's a theme park promo for I can't remember who it was now. I think it's like playing in the amphitheater will be Cheap Trick with Weird Al Yankovic.
Nice.
It's like that's something like that, like the weirdest combination. Ladies and gentlemen, Impaler with special guest Air Supply. Like what? What kind of billing is this?
I worked with Weird Al. He was a nice guy.
Hey, this is we've gone over now, and I think we're gonna end the podcast episode at about 37 minutes here. We kind of went over a little bit, but that's okay. So my name's Terry Daniel, along with Garnet Williams, Rob Marley. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show.
A pleasure.
And will you guys please, I'm begging you to come back, because these shows are better with you guys on them.
Well,
they're a lot of fun. I like doing these.
Yeah,
you're right.
Awesome.
They really are. Yeah.
But by the way, if you want to subscribe to Voiceover Sermons, we're available on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you subscribe to podcasts. If you just want to take a shortcut to get directly to it, you can go to voiceoversermons.com. That's all for today. Take care, everybody, and thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for tuning in to the Voiceover Sermon with Terry Daniel. See you next time for more useful tips and tricks to help make your voiceover business run better.